Please don't fall. Hi. Oh my god. Long time no fucking see YouTube. It's been a while since I've literally posted like anything. But that's fine. You know, it doesn't matter. This camera angle is awful. And so I haven't really been posting, but probably want to do that. And I didn't really take notes on what I'm going to talk about today, but I feel like it's important. It's not really related to any of the comments that I've posted before, but that doesn't really matter. So I have a university exam tomorrow, and this is what I'm doing. But I want to talk about something very important before I get ahead of myself. I'm just going to start talking about it. Recovery. Yeah, it's awful. And I've been 2 days and I've been trying, like actually, I don't really know if it's actually, I've just been kind of convincing myself, convincing my brain. I have massive intrusive thoughts problem. What I wanted to talk about today is the nightmare, the death nightmare. I feel like a lot of people have experienced this, and that's why, like, when they take acid or like LSD and stuff, they talk about like ego death and how they saw these stuff, and that like life isn't really about that. And the reason why I'm relating this is I feel like people do this ego death thing right after they have like a near-death experience. And I had 2 near-death experiences that were like really close together, but the one that I want to talk about is the death nightmare. I feel like a lot of people start recovery because of this, the death nightmare, which is basically like you're laying down and you wake up and you've got something over you, like you're fighting, fighting death is what I want to say that I think you're actually fighting. But here's the thing. So the death nightmare, kind of, I'm just gonna go on a little story time before I actually, talk about the implications of this. So what the death nightmare was for me was, so I woke up in my bed and there was a dark figure over me and it was like on top of me and just trying to kill me and choke me to death. And like I was fighting in my mind, I was like, that's not going to happen. And then I woke up and it was like super hot and my heart was beating super fast, and I had like a cardiac thing happen to me from stress like a day ago at the time or something. And I woke up and I was like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. But then I didn't. And it was really scary, but then I did wake up because I knew that this wasn't like, it was like a warning. It's like it's like a warning. It was like this could have happened, but it didn't. And that's why you need to have this strength. And I think that's super important. I think that's what gets people to, get back on track. But I feel like for a lot of people who haven't experienced the death nightmare, haven't pushed themselves to the point where they experience the death nightmare, I feel like for a lot of those people, they keep on trying to find this weird new rush. And this is happening to me right now, kind of, where for some people, they're addicted to this, they're addicted to that. I would consider myself being addicted to pain. And I know that sounds really, really specific when mentioned in any kind of context. But what I mean is that you enjoy feeling this wave of sadness because you felt it for so long. You're not really sure what to do with it when you don't have it. And you kind of depend on, so you don't actually want to die. You do have happy memories and you do have stuff that you hold on to. But for the most part, you feel like you need to suffer to be able to deserve another happy experience, which is what's happening to me. And it feels weird to admit because I will be starting a therapy trial on the 9th. and I do plan on saying these things, but I also wanted to record a video because I feel like YouTube would be a great coping mechanism for me. I like part of my addiction per se would be, yeah, you don't deserve this, but you also have to understand a part of my brain being really obsessed with looks and being really obsessed with this association created in my mind about, you know, the person that I want to be and the person that I want to be viewed as, and just an obsessive need to get that, which is also part of why I keep on relapsing and why this keeps on happening and why I've tried so many coping mechanisms, and it's so easy to, you know, give up when you're splitting and when you're doing stuff like that. Because people talk about splitting on people, but they don't really talk about splitting on yourself when you've got those fighting personalities. And they fight, you know, they fight a lot, and you switch between them and you split on yourself, not really on anybody else, and you split on recovery and you split on everything. And, you know, that's something that's you need to learn how to control on your own if you're unmedicated like I am. But the death nightmare, I feel like, is something that awakens this desire to live in people like me. And for the past 2 days, I still have continued to push myself, but not as much, I feel like. My eye is like tweaking right now. It's been doing that because I've been stressed for exams. I don't know if you can tell. You probably can't. I just stopped. But I feel like it's something that pushes people and that gets them to kind of awake. Like a lot of people I see online on social media, they talk about this like motivation and this toxic motivation, and a lot of people don't realize that psychosis, it feels like an excuse right now. It feels like I'm excusing everything as psychosis and that people just need to man up and get out of psychosis. But psychosis is a very normal thing that happens to normal people. You don't need to be hyper disordered, and you don't need to have an intense amount of trauma to get in psychosis. It's a coping mechanism that's used by people who don't really have specific mental illnesses. It's like you just need something to fill up. And people do often mention that people who are out of psychosis, like actually they say like, oh, well, look at you, you're obsessed with this. And somebody who's in psychosis will tell you that you're wrong. No, like you're just not good enough. Like you're not ready for this type of thing. But psychosis, it clearly is. Like, it's one thing to be passionate about something, and it's a whole other thing to push yourself beyond your limits and just be living through pain because you think that's the way to keep yourself going. Well, it's not really. And the thing about that is that you can, if you can want to like keep living through pain, keep living through pain, at some point you need to stop, which is unfortunate, but that's kind of when you're supposed to get out of psychosis. You just need to stop. That's kind of it. Which is awful. It's awful to realize that you've been an addict despite saying things like, oh, I'll never get addicted to substances, I'll never get addicted to this, that, but people can get addicted to literally anything. It's really easy to get dependent on stuff when you're in a weak position and not realize that you've been dependent on this thing. And despite talking with people and saying that you're going to get better, you just don't. And you need something that's so harsh to push you into getting better. But for some people, for people like me, this is kind of it. There is no other way. So I'll probably be documenting this journey. I want to Comic-Con soon, so I'll probably vlog that. And for those who have not experienced the death nightmare and maybe are addicted to something, and maybe they've told themselves that they want to stop, but they feel like they're not good enough to stop. in the sense that they're not worse enough to stop. Which, it's really difficult to, sit here and tell you that you don't need to be on death's doorway to stop. You can stop if you want to, truly. You can get the help that you need and talk to people and stop. And you can help somebody stop even if they're not, on death level. And it's something that just, living a healthy life is difficult. If you've been through something, even if you haven't, I think a lot of people just blame that on some type of experience. You don't have to be through anything. Life is difficult, and you do want to find a coping mechanism, whether that be just getting up in the morning and looking at yourself and being like, oh, like seeing a person that you want to see, but it's different. It's different, and I feel like I kind of went on a rant here, but I will continue to post, and I'll just be doing stuff, So if you're in recovery now, I'm proud of you, and it's difficult. And if you're not, just admitting that you have a problem is fine too. You don't need to suffer to enjoy life. That's pretty much all I wanted to say. Okay, see you in the next one.